Hi, I'm Aly McFarlane. I just found this really interesting video on Yahoo Finance regarding women feeling potentially less confident about retirement savings by BlackRock. Let's see if I agree. We'll take a look.
A new survey from BlackRock shows that while confidence about retirement savings among Americans is up, women are more likely than their male counterparts to be worried about staying on track financially. Carrie, what have you found?
It's absolutely true. What this BlackRock report found is something that I've been seeing for decades, to be honest with you. Women simply are not confident about their retirement savings. They feel like they're going to outlive their money. They're not on track.
This is something that I've definitely seen. The majority of women who come in are incredibly anxious about their retirement savings for a legitimate amount of reasons. For one, I found that many women get laid off early. They're potentially widowed or never been married. And women tend to be the caretakers. So a lot of the questions regarding that are, who's going to take care of me? In many cases, I have clients who took care of their sick husbands, took care of their sick siblings. At the end of the day, they are the caretakers, and they understand the commitment that it takes to take care of another individual. So if they are single, divorced, or never married, it's a different situation, because if women outlive men by an average of 6 years, the question is, who takes care of them over the long term? And it's a real legitimate concern. Let's keep watching.
It's a gender issue when it comes to retirement confidence. And here's it. I mean, Brad, women tend to live longer, roughly 6 years longer than men. So they have to fund a longer retirement. They tend to be out of the workplace for caregiving at different junctures during their career. They tend to have, this is no surprise, we talk about this a lot, there's a pay gap, right? They have lower earnings than their male counterparts in general.
So let's talk about that. The fact that women historically have earned less than men and how that translates. You may have an individual who has $1 million, who's a woman. That same man would have $1.4 million, $1.5 million in their portfolio. Well, how does it make a difference? Well, the man potentially will die sooner and therefore doesn't need as many assets. Also, women tend to use more for medical than men. So this is very impactful. What happens if you get laid off? Right? A lot of women and men get laid off in their 60s. They can't get back to work. So how does that work if your life expectancy is a little bit longer? Many of my clients are single women, divorced women, never married women, and all these individuals have these concerns. And the concerns are real, because if you don't deal with these concerns, it can deeply affect your retirement. And if you don't plan for it, the results can be devastating. Let's take a little bit more of a listen.
The first thing that you really should do is try to save enough. If you have an employer-provided retirement plan, try to save enough to meet that employer match, which is usually about 4 to 6% of your salary. So if you can bump up your total, the combo of yours and theirs, to a 15% a year savings rate, that would be amazing. It would be really get you rolling forward. And if you can tick it up higher, absolutely do so.
One of the things I want to talk about is, what do you do if you are retired or did get laid off? You can't bump your savings up. So these are some of the things that need to be explored, because if you already are at retirement or have been retired out by your employer, an employer match isn't going to get you there anymore. So it's one of the things you've got to look at, which is, well, how do I deal with these things? Because a retirement calculator may not get you there.
Run your retirement calculators. I know that it's not perfect. It's not going to give you, absolutes, but it gets you thinking about what's out there. So most of the major mutual fund and financial services companies have there, but Vanguard has a good one. AARP also does. So try to run your numbers. Just take the time and start thinking about it. And again, don't get stuck that it's just what you're saving in your retirement plan at work or in that thing. Look at your entire wealth picture. That might make you feel just a little bit better, because you may have home equity, you may have savings outside of your retirement accounts, and of course you hopefully, if all goes well, you're still going to have your Social Security.
So let's talk about that. What happens with an individual who is at the end of their work lifespan, who potentially may have an extra 30 years? right? What does that look like? What kind of assets do you have? If you have $1 million in your 401k, it's different than if you have $500,000 in a 401k or IRA rollover account versus another $500,000 in an account that's a brokerage account, right? How those funds are structured can lean a lot into how successful your retirement actually is in the future.
So it's not all lost, but there are other ways to build your confidence by looking at the whole picture.
A few more actionable tips that you can take include figuring out where you are, where you stand. She did mention equity in your home. Most people now do not want to sell their home unless they have to. They would like to stay in their home. But if they're going to stay in their home and you are single or divorced or never married, most people don't have anyone else to take care of them in their home. So you have to look at those costs in the future and see, well, in the years that I potentially may or may not have a decline, who's going to take care of me and how's that going to work? Many people who feel as though they are potentially armed for retirement run out of money because of medical issues, run out of money because of longevity issues. What happens if the market corrects with their money, right? Because it's just them. So the anxiety is real. I mean, it doesn't take a BlackRock report to tell people, especially women out there, how they feel. I've seen this for years. It's something that I've directly experienced with my clients. And what a wonderful article. I believe that it's something that needs to be addressed further and definitely should be spoken to about with a fiduciary who understands the needs of women in retirement, specifically women who are over the age of 59 and a half, and how these women can be impacted or during retirement and some of the pitfalls that's potentially can happen. And I help people just like this. And it really is a confidence booster when you understand that the road that you're going down is the one that will actually get you financially where you need to go. I hear from multiple women who are over 60 years old who I've been able to help over time as fiduciary to see how it is that we can make your retirement dreams come true. How do we get you to where you need to go? How can we relieve some of the anxiety around retirement so you can live your life? Because you've already put your time in. Now it's looking forward to the next 30 years of your life and making that successful. If you're in the Southern California area, which includes Los Angeles and Orange County, if you're over 55 years old, have worked for the government for more than 20 years, I invite you to call the number on the screen or to click on the link. I would love the opportunity to do the same for you.